Hello there, guides. So you're making little poppies like this with the guide group on Wednesday, and I thought I'd make you a little video so you can carry on making them at home as well. Okay, please excuse my voice. I do have a little bit of a cold at the moment, but I'll try not to sniff my way through the video. So the first thing we do is we take our black yarn and we hold our crochet hook a little bit like you would hold a knife, with your thumb on the flat bit there, your finger just on the top, and your other finger just sat resting gently underneath. Okay, so we'll start with the black in the centre. I've done you all some instructions, so hopefully you've got those as well, and that should make it a bit easier for you. So the first thing we're going to do is a little bit tricky, and this is called the magic ring. And even I had to look this one up, so don't worry if you don't get it first time. It takes a few attempts. You can always pull it out and start again. So the first thing we're going to do is you wrap the yarn around 2 fingers on your left hand, and you wrap it a bit like that in an X. Okay, so then what we do, move that small tail out of the way, we push the crochet hook through the hole that we've made, and we pick up the long tail of yarn. Okay, so it sits like that on the crochet hook. Now gently take your fingers out from the loop, being careful not to undo it, and just pull the long tail ever so slightly. Right, so then we grab hold of the long end again, and we wrap it once around the crochet hook, grab hold of our magic circle gently, and we pull it through the one hook that's already on the crochet hook, and there we go. There is your magic circle. Okie dokie. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to do 7 double crochet stitches. Trust me, not as complicated as it sounds, I promise. So to do this, we need to make sure that we also catch this little short tail end as well as we're moving around. So we grab hold of both of them like that, and with your free finger, wrap the yarn around it like that, the long end. Okay, so next thing we do, just give that a little bit of a tug to straighten it up so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we go through the centre of the magic loop, and we pick up the long piece of yarn we have wrapped around our finger. So we now have 2 loops on our crochet hook. So you wrap the long yarn around once and pull it through the first loop. Wrap it around again and pull it through both loops. That was your first double crochet. We need to do 6 more of these. Okay, so we go in through the magic loop. We pick up the long tail of yarn at the back around our hook, like so. We then wrap the long tail once around the crochet hook and take that through the first loop, and wrap it around a second time and take it through both the loops together. That's double crochet stitch number 2. Okay, it's a little bit difficult to see with black yarn, but just trust the process and it will work, I promise. So go through again in the centre of your magic ring and pick up this long piece of yarn again around your hook. Okay, wrap your yarn around once, pull it through the first loop, wrap it around twice, and pull it through both the loops together. It's important not to pull your stitches too tight, otherwise you will struggle to get the hook through the stitches. Okay, so that was double crochet number 3. Just 4 more to go now. So again, through the centre of the 2 loops, wrap the long tail of the yarn around once, pull it through, wrap the long tail again through the first loop, wrap the long tail again, and take it through both loops. Okay, that's number 4. So through 2 loops, wrap the yarn around once, and through the first loop, wrap your yarn around again, and take it through both loops. That's number 5. Okay, again, once more through the centre of the 2, wrap it round once, pull it through, wrap the yarn round through the first loop, and again through both the loops. Number 6, and the final one of these is number 7. So in through the 2 loops, pick up your long tail. Okay, and wrap your yarn round once through the first loop, and once again, and through both of the loops. Okay, now we just leave make a bit of a loop here. You can pull this with your fingers if you need to. So the first thing we're now going to do is your short tail end. We give that a little bit of a pull, and that closes those little stitches into a little circle like that. Okay, so don't pull on this long tail because you'll just pull out all those stitches that you've just done. Okie doke. So we just pull that, make sure that's nice and tight. Then with your long tail of yarn, if you just pop it through that loop we've left, give it a pull, and that's it. That's your magic circle all done. Okay, again, it's a bit difficult to show you with black, but it does work. So we'll just trim. We don't need all of this long thread. There's an awful lot, so we don't need that. So we'll just cut it off and leave you maybe 6 inches because you are going to need that. So that's the end we've just cut off. Now we need the red yarn. Excuse this, there's a little bit of a ball of red that I've been using. So I'll pull some yarn off. Now we need to attach the red yarn onto the black because this is what we're going to use to make our poppy petals. So what I do, I lay the 2 pieces together like so. Pick them up, again holding them together, and I just tie them together in a knot. Just a normal knot, nothing special, nothing tricky, she says. There we go. And we just pull those through. And then we just push the knot, and there we go. Our red yarn is now attached to our magic circle. Okay. So, here's what we're now going to do. This is where I need the instructions. So, now that we've done that, we go find a hole somewhere in your magic circle. There will be one, just to give a little poke around with your needle and find a hole around the edge. And again, you keep your long-tailed yarn to your left. And the first thing we're going to do is chain 3 stitches. Now this is so that we can get the height of the petals right. So what we do, we're through a hole in the black already, we wrap our red around once and we pull it through. Now we're just going to chain 3, this is the really easy bit. So you wrap your red yarn around once, that's 1. Wrap your red yarn around a second time, pull it through the loop, that's 2. Wrap your yarn around for the third and final time, pull it through the loop, there's your chain 3. So there you go, you just made your chain of 3. Now in this same stitch, the same hole here, where we have put the red yarn, we're going to go again. And what we're now going to do is a stitch called a double treble, which I also had to look up. So what you do, you wrap your yarn around once, twice, 3 times. So we have 4 pieces of red on our hook, and we go back through the hole that we made with the red yarn. So when we go through, we then pick up the red yarn and we pull it round again and pull it back through the hole. So we now have 5 pieces of yarn wrapped around 5 times. So then what we do, we wrap it around again and we pull it through the first 2 loops. So that's 1, 2. We then pull it through, wrap it around again and pull it through the next 2 loops. You've got 3 left now. Wrap it around again, pull it through those 2 loops. Just give that a bit of a wiggle. Oh, it's a bit stuck, hang on. There we go. And wrap it around once more and pull it through those 2. And that is your first double treble. Now, we need to do another 2 of these. So we'll go again. So it's 1, 2, 3. Through the hole that we were already working in and get hold of the red yarn. Okay, and pull that back through. So you've now got the 5 loops. So wrap it around once and pull it through the first 2 loops. Wrap it round again and pull it through the next 2 loops. Again, and the next 2 loops. And wrap it round again and pull it through the final 2 loops. So that's 2 done now. We've got to do 1 more of these. So 1, 2, 3. Back through the same hole again. Pick up the red from the back. Okay, wrap it round and through the first 2 loops. Wrap it round again and through the next 2 loops. again and through the next 2 loops. Wrap once more and through those. Excellent. So we've done those. Now what we want to do is we're going to repeat those stitches, but we're going to go into a new hole. So we're going to make another little hole here. So we wrap round once, twice, 3 times like that, and then we just poke through the hole in our black and we pick up the red yarn at the back again, and we do the same again. So we wrap it around once, put it through the first 2, wrap it around twice, well once, sorry, put it through the next 2, wrap it around once again and through the next 2, and wrap it around one final time and through the last 2. So we're going to repeat that again with 2 more of those double treble stitches. So we wrap 1, 2, 3. So we have the 4 loops, and we go into our hole, pull the red back through, and wrap it round and through the first 2 stitches, and wrap it round again through the second 2, wrap it round again through the third 2, wrap it round again and through the fourth 2. Okay, and we have 1 more to do. Don't worry if it looks a bit straggly at the moment. It tends to sort of puff up a bit once you've finished it. So 1, 2, 3 wraps, back in through that same hole again, pull the red back through. Oh, getting caught on some black there. Just if that happens, just give it a little bit of a wiggle. And I've just got my hook caught in my yarn, so I'll put that back through, and I'll do that again because I don't want my hook caught in my yarn. So we'll go back through the hole, and there we go, that's better. Right, so we wrap the yarn around once, pull it through the first 2, wrap it round again through the second 2, wrap it round again and pull it through the third 2, and wrap it round again through the final 2. So we've now got a petal. So what we're going to do, we're going to chain another 3 now, make a chain of 3. So to do that, we just wrap the red round once, pull it through, wrap it again, pull it through, and wrap it again and pull it through that stitch. Okay, and the next thing we do is now a slip stitch. And what we do with that is, again, we're using the same hole that we've used, and we just go through and we pick up this red again, and instead of wrapping it round or anything, all we're doing is we're literally pulling that stitch over the little one we've just pulled through, and there we go. That is 1 full poppy petal. So now we need to chain 3 again. So that's wrap it round and through once, wrap it round 2, wrap it round and 3. There we go. And now we're back on to those double trebles again. So we repeat the process again, and we'll do another set of 3 double trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then go into the next hole along. Oh, just let me find my next hole. Where is it? There we go. Go through there and pull that red through. So then we wrap round once through the first 2, once through the second 2, wrap it round through the third 2, wrap it round again, and the final 2. So 1, 2, 3, in the same hole, pull the red back through, 1, pull it, oops, now see, I just dropped that then, but not a problem. So what we do, I've got 2, I need to wrap it around 1 more time, there we go, and back in through that hole again. So then that's, wrap it round once through the first 2, wrap it round again and through the next 2, wrap it round again through those 2, and once more through there, and 1 more of these. That's 1, 2, 3, through the hole, and pull your yarn back through. Mine's just getting caught. There's a little bit of black yarn in my way there for some reason. There we go. Wrap it around once and through the first 2. Oh dear. I think that hole might be a little bit too tight. Okay, we'll go again. Through the hole. There we go. Wrap it around once and through the first 2 stitches. Wrap it round through the next 2. Wrap it around again through the next 2. and wrap it around again. Okay, so we've now got 3 of those. So then we're moving into our next hole, which is somewhere around there. And we go 1, 2, 3 wraparounds and into the next hole. There we go. And pull that through. So wrap it round and pull it through those 2. Wrap it round and pull it through the next 2. Wrap your yarn around, pull it through those 2. Wrap your yarn around and pull it through those 2. And we'll repeat that another 2 times. Just loosen up some more yarn. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. Back in through that hole. So through the first 2, wrap it round through the, oh, this, that doesn't look right. There we go. Let's do that one again. 1, 2, 3. So wrap the yarn around and take it through your first 2 stitches. Wrap it again, take it through the next 2. Wrap it again. That one's got stuck, there we go. And wrap it again and take it through that one. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Okay. So that's 1 more of these to do. 1, 2, 3, wrap it around, back in through that same hole, pick your red thread up through the back, wrap it around once, pull it through the first 2, wrap it around twice through the second 2, wrap it around twice through the third 2, and wrap it around through that final one. Okay, so now we chain 3 again, which was just wrap your yarn around once and pull it through that stitch. Wrap it around once again and pull it through the stitch on the hook, and wrap it around one more time and pull that through the stitch on the hook. Okay, so we've got half a poppy now. We just want to fasten this petal down. So what we do, again, we do a slip stitch. So we've got 1 stitch on here, we go through the hole we were working in, we just pick the red up, pull it back through and just slide the final stitch over it. So we now have 2 poppy petals. Okay, we've got 2 more to do, so we're nearly there. So now we want to go into the next stitch along. So we wrap around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. No, we don't, sorry. That's me. You chain 3 next to get the height. So we wrap it around once and we pull it through. We wrap it around again and pull it through the stitch on the hook. And 1 more time. There's your chain 3. Okay, now we wrap it around 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And into the next hole, which is there. Okay, so again, now we've got the 5 loops. Wrap it round once, pull it through the first 2. Wrap it round again, pull it through the next 2. Wrap it round again, pull it through the next 2. Wrap it round again and pull it through the next 2. Okay, so we've got to do another 2 of these. So 1, 2, 3, in through that same hole you're working through. Pull the yarn back through. Wrap your yarn around once, pull it through the first 2. Wrap your yarn around again and pull it through the next 2. Wrap it again and through the next 2, and again and through the next 2. So now we've got 2 and a chain of 3. 1 more to do. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so through the same hole, pull the red back through, wrap it around once and through the first 2. Wrap it round again and through the next 2. Oh, that's got stuck. Wrap it round again and through the next 2. And wrap it round again and through the last 2. Okay. So then next what we're doing is, in the next hole along, we want to do another 3 of those. So we go 1, 2, 3. Find our next hole and pop our crochet hook through, like so. Pick up the red yarn from the back and pull it back through to the front. Wrap it round once and through the first 2. Wrap it round once through the second 2. Wrap it round once and pull it through the third 2. And wrap it around once and through the final 2. Okay, so that's 1. We've got another 2 to do now. So 1, 2, 3. And there we go, through the same hole. Pull our red yarn back up. wrap it around once, take it through the first two, wrap it around again, take it through the next two, wrap it around again, the next two, and wrap it around again. There we go. And there's one more of these to do now, because you can see the individual stitches, so you can count where you are. 1, 2, 3. Back in through that final hole that you were working on. Wrap your red yarn round and pull it through the first 2 loops on your crochet hook. And wrap it around again and pull it through the next 2 loops on the crochet hook. Wrap it around again for the next 2. And wrap it around again for that one. Okay, so then when we get to the end of this one now, what we're going to do is we chain another 3. So that's wrap your yarn round and just pull it through there, and again through that stitch, and again through that stitch. So there's your chain. And again, we're going to slip stitch this now onto in through the same hole we were working. Just pick up the red at the back. Don't need to wrap it round. You're just sliding that stitch on your hook over that little stitch there. And there we go. We now have 3 petals. Excellent. So we now want to chain another 3. So you wrap your yarn around once and you go 1 through that hole. Again, that's 2 and 3. Okie dokie, so you've got your little chain. So now we're back on to our final batches of the double trebles. So wrap your yarn around 3 times. 1, 2, 3, like so. Again, don't pull it too tight because you will struggle to do your stitches if you do pull it too tight. And we're looking for the next hole in our magic circle, which, again, difficult to see with black yarn, but just give it a poke and you'll find a hole. So wrap your yarn around once and pull it through the first stitches. Wrap your yarn around again and through the next 2 stitches. Wrap it round again through the next 2. And wrap it round again through the final 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, in through the same hole you were working from. Pull your red yarn back through. Okay, so we then go wrap it round once through the first 2 stitches. Wrap it round again through the next 2 stitches. And again to the next 2 stitches. And again. There we go. We need to do one more. 1, 2, 3. So back in again we go. Okay, so we go wrap it around once through the first 2, wrap it around again through the second 2, wrap it around again through the third 2, wrap it around again and through the final 2. And then in the next hole along, again, we now need to do just 3 more of those. We are very, very nearly done. So you should have something that looks quite a lot like a poppy at the moment. So 1, 2, 3. In through your next hole, which is there, and pull your red back through and wrap it around once and pull it through the first 2 and the second 2, wrap it around again through the third 2, wrap it around again through the fourth 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, in through the hole, wrap it around and pull it through the first 2. Oops, no, that's got stuck, so do that one again. At least if you do make a mistake with crochet, it's really, really easy to just stop and go back a little bit. So it's not a problem, don't worry. Just have to redo that little bit. So again, we go in through that hole and we wrap it around and put it through the first 2. We wrap it around again and pull it through the next 2. And that little bit's stuck from the previous stitch. There we go. Wrap it around again through the next 2 and wrap it around again through the final 2. Got a little bit stuck there as well, just give that a wiggle. There we go. Okay, one more to go. So we go 1, 2, 3. In through there. Through the first 2, wrap it round, through the second 2, wrap it round, through the next 2, and wrap it round through the final 2. And then we do another chain of 3, which is 1, 2, 3, like so, and just poke it through, pull the red yarn back through and slide that stitch over. Okay, so that is your poppy. And what we do, if you pull your crochet hook to create a loop, cut the yarn, hold of your loop and pull the long tail of red yarn through the loop. And there we go, that is your poppy fastened. So then what we need to do is we need to get rid of these pesky ends, because obviously we've got quite a few dangly bits which we do not want on display. So what we do, I will just find my needle. You can do this with a crochet hook. I use a very, very large needle. Now you may have grandparents or other relatives who are good at crochet knitting, and they may have one of these. This is called a bodkin needle. It's got a very, very, very large eye on the top because wool is a lot thicker than thread. So we just pinch that together and we poke it through this big hole like that. There we go. So be sure to ask aunties, uncles, grandmas. You never know, somebody might have one of these knocking around and be able to help you. And then we just weave the red yarn through on the underside of the poppy, because we don't want anyone to see the messy bits. And you can just gently pull all the other threads out of the way and keep the red yarn in the red bit of the poppy and the black yarn in the black bit of the poppy. And we just keep threading it through until all of that tail of yarn is secure. It won't come undone because we already fastened it off when we pulled the long tail through the bigger loop that we had left at the end. So it's quite secure. This is just tidying it up a little bit. Now, if you wanted, you could get some little badge backs or brooch clasps, and you could stitch one of these onto the back and wear it as a brooch. So I'll just trim that off because that bit's done now. I've wound that right the way around. Get rid of that piece. I'll do the next piece of red. So I tend to put my yarn over the needle and then squash it through the hole like that. Okay, and again we just stitch through. So it's not actually sewing, it's more just sort of poking the wool under. If you don't have one of these needles, it's fine. You can actually, you could just weave a little bit through with your crochet hook. So you just sort of take it up and down, a bit like when you used to do weaving when you were smaller. You might have had one of those weaving frames which had the threads running from top to bottom, and you have a little thing which you passed across it. So that would work as well. And again, I'm sure a grown-up would help you with that if you're struggling. Okay, so I can trim that bit off, and now we've just got the two little black bits to trim. So we will thread these in. And again, just wind those around the black bits of the poppy, because you don't want the black bits in the red bit and you don't want the red bits in the black bit. So just stick to the colour it's supposed to be in and it will be fine. Nearly there now. Give that one more whiz around. There we go. So now I can trim that one. Now then, this one is kind of sticking out where we don't really want it. This was the first piece of black yarn that we had, but it's not a problem. So what we can do, we'll go underneath, because we don't want to pull it over the top because we'll end up with a black bit there, which we don't want. So again, we turn it over and just pull it ever so slightly and start weaving it through. Okie dokie. So there we go, and just trim that off. And there you have your poppy. So don't worry if it takes a couple of attempts to get it right, because this was my first attempt. Looks nothing like a poppy. Second attempt was a little bit better. I still need to weave the ends in on that one. So it's definitely practice makes perfect, girls. If you have any difficulty with it, just let me know and I will do my best to help you, and good luck making all of your poppies. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye.